Hello, and welcome back to another Music Monday. We're going to cross pollinate this Music Monday with another edition of my favorite albums. This year we're in 1997. Let's start out with Johnny Lang. The album was Lie to Me. This came out one day before his 16th birthday, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. Uh, Great playing on this album. It's almost all cover songs or songs written by someone else. He co-wrote one of the songs on this album. But fantastic, fantastic album from a very young man, Johnny Lang. Second up, we got Widespread Panic, Bombs and Butterflies. Another great album from Widespread. For me, this band shines in a live setting more than a studio setting, although their studio albums are fantastic, and this one is no exception. It's got quite a few songs on here that they rely heavily on in their live sets over the years. Great stuff from Widespread. Go check it out. Next up, we got Big Head Todd and the Monsters with Beautiful World. This is a beautiful album. Thing I love about Big Head Todd and the Monsters, Todd Park Moore has a unique voice. He has a unique voice singing and with his guitar playing. He's got great tone, great choices in the kind of stuff he plays. Backed by a fantastic band, he writes great songs. This album is no exception. Really good stuff on it. Next up, we've got Live, the follow-up from Throwing Copper with Secret Samadhi. If I'm remembering correctly, this one went to number one as well. 2 number one albums in a row from this great band, Live. There's some really, really good stuff on those 2 albums. This one, it's kind of a return to the sound that they had on Throwing Copper. It kind of builds on it a little bit in some different ways. Go give it a shot, especially if you haven't heard it in a long time. It'll take you back. Next up, we have Nick Cave with an album called Boatman's Call. And you'll notice it has those little flames above it up there. These are albums I think that are overlooked by a lot of people, or they've maybe never heard these albums. These are ones you should go check out. Nick Cave, Boatman's Call. He had kind of a post-punk, angsty kind of sound before this album. This album was almost entirely piano ballads, songs about love and longing and searching, and some really good stuff on it. Be careful with it. It'll put you in a weird mood, possibly. Anyway, Nick Cave, The Boatman's Call. Fantastic album. Next up, we have U2, Pop. I know. You don't like this album. That's okay. I do. I love bands that are not afraid to push the limits of the kinds of music they make, and they're willing to explore new territories, and they really just don't care. They want to put the music out that they want to put out. U2, from this point, maybe even a little earlier in their career, up until today, have followed that kind of mindset. They make the music that they want to make, and I appreciate that. It is very pop sounding, but there you go. Next up, we have Queensryche, Here in the New Frontier. This was the last album that had that classic great Queensryche sound. The band kind of fell apart after this. Members started leaving, people started being replaced, there was infighting, all kinds of stuff like that. But this is kind of their last classic Queensryche sounding album to me, anyway. Here in the New Frontier. All right, next up, here's that band again. You've heard me talk about them several times, the Flower Kings. They come out with Stardust We Are. It's their 3rd album, I believe, and it is an intense, lengthy double album. fantastic stuff as always. Flower Kings, I think, should be at least considered up there in the pantheon of great second wave of progressive rock type bands, Dream Theater, people like that. Really, really good stuff on this album. If you haven't heard and you have some time on your hands, go give it a listen. It's good stuff. Next up, we have a debut album from Creed, a band that splits opinions right down the middle. Typically, people love them or hate them. I happen to think that Mark Tremonti, the guitar player and one of the chief writers of this band, is one of the most talented people to come out in the last 30 years or so. The stuff he's done with Creed, the stuff he's done with Alter Bridge, with his own band Tremonti, the Sinatra stuff, it's all just fantastic. And this debut album by Creed kind of gives you an idea of what to look for in the future from Mark Tremonti and crew. Great heavy guitars, down-tuned stuff, just some fantastic stuff on it. Really, really enjoy his playing and the band in general. Next up, we have the Foo Fighters, or just Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape. The debut thing that Dave Grohl did, I think, was an experiment or some sort of cathartic release after the whole Nirvana thing happened. And this was a much more focused album, I think, than the first album. There's some great stuff on this song. A lot of the songs on this album are the ones that people know the Foo Fighters from. Just a really, really good album. I love Dave Grohl. You may not. That's okay. Anyway, up next, we have another person that people either love or hate, seemingly. Sammy Hagar, Marching to Mars. This was the first thing that he did after the whole Van Halen thing fell apart. Sammy Hagar has this knack of being in the middle of some of the most talented musicians ever on almost everything he's ever done. This album is full of guest artists. It's got all kinds of great stuff on it. It's Sammy Hagar through and through. Pretty much great songs, great guitar, great voice. If you like his voice, that's a good thing. If you don't, well, sorry. And it's Sammy Hagar. It's got that party-esque kind of vibe. Lots of the stuff on it. It's just good old rock and roll. But yeah, Marching to Mars by Sammy Hagar. You may not have heard it, and that's why it has those flames above it. So go check it out. All right, next up we have one of my favorite artists, probably the last 3 decades, Ben Harper, come out with his third album this year. It's called Will to Live, and it is, in my opinion, probably the pinnacle album of his career. It's just wonderful. It's the album that I heard first from Ben Harper, and having heard it, I went back and bought everything else by him, and I've pretty much acquired everything since. I love the dude. He's got a very unique delivery about his stuff. This is a great album, another example of a really great album. Go give it a listen. Next up, we have, this is a very subjective opinion, probably one of the most approachable albums by Primus that they did for the regular average music fan, for the non-Primus fan. The Brown Album, it's called. It's Primus through and through. It's got all the stuff you expect from Primus. Fantastic, instrumentation, fantastic playing, weirdness, humor, depth, breadth, everything that you would expect from Primus. But it also has a little bit more of kind of a polish or a sheen to it that may appeal to people that aren't Primus fans. Maybe. Go give it a listen, see if you agree. Next up, we have a young lady at the time named Dar Williams. I discovered her shortly after this album came out. This album is called The End of Summer, or End of Summer. If you don't know who Dar Williams is, she's probably one of, and she's considered by many to be one of the great singer-songwriters of the last 2 or 3 decades. I think I agree with that. She's got a very unique voice, not just the way she sings, but the things she sings about, the way she puts her songs together. Some really good stuff. And if you've never checked out Dar Williams, give her a shot. You're going to hear more about her from me in the future, for sure. Next up, we have another young lady from Nova Scotia named Sarah McLachlan. She put out this album, I believe her third, called Surfacing this year, and just exploded. It just went crazy. She was huge for several years off of this album. She's the one that went on to, to come up with the whole Lilith Fair thing and all that stuff. But this album is just full of great music, great writing, great singing, great production. She has this beautiful, emotional way of getting the point across in her songs. I just love her stuff. It's another great album. Next up, we have something that is totally unusual for the kinds of stuff that I normally talk about, and I'm only saying this because if you've never heard it, you at least need to go listen to it. This was the Buena Vista Social Club album that came out and just took the world by storm that year, quite literally. Ry Cooder was going to go to Cuba to record an album with some folks. When he got there, they weren't able to be there for some reason. They got tied up in Europe or something like that, so he decided to record some music anyway. Sought out some local musicians, and there's 20 of them or so on this album, and just go listen to it if you've never heard it. It's different, but anyway, check it out. Next up, we have Dream Theater, Falling into Infinity. I believe this is the album where they really found their sound, found the type of music that they were going to make, and became really, really confident in the way that they played it. The albums after this were epic kind of masterpiece kind of albums. This one is individual songs more than, a concept album or something like that. But there's some really, really good stuff on this album. Some heaviness, it's Dream Theater. Great writing, great playing, killer stuff. Go check it out. Dream Theater. Next up, we have a dude that's been around at this point for 30 plus years. 35 years he'd been making albums at this point. Bob Dylan. And he came out with an album called Time Out of Mind, which is widely regarded as his best album of the 90s. I would throw it in the conversation for his best album. It's just, I prefer the older, more wiser Bob Dylan than the youthful, protesty kind of Bob Dylan. His voice is Bob Dylan. You got to get over that if you want to listen to Bob Dylan. The songwriting on this album is incredible. There are several just absolutely classic songs on this album. Time Out of Mind. Next up, we got Fish, Slip, Stitch, and Pass. Great Fish album. It's got some staples of their music. Again, they're like I said, with Widespread, they shine when they're live, more so than their studio albums, but their studio albums are really good. And this is another example of that. It's classic songs on this album. Next up, we have one of the albums that people love to hate, Metallica, Reload. This was the second of what got split into two albums by them. It was initially, I think, considered to be a double album, but they put out Load and then Reload. I think there's some wonderful stuff on it. I think there's wonderful stuff on everything Metallica put out. It's different. I mean, it's not Hit the Lights, No Remorse, Phantom Lord kind of stuff. And it's not, like I said on that last one, it's not 72 Seasons, Saint Anger, all that kind of stuff. It's somewhere in between. Next up, we have a young lady from Australia. Her name was Natalie Imbruglia. She put out an album called Left of the Middle. And it has the song that she's most well known for, I believe, Torn, on it. This is a very, very pop album. It's not something that I was really super into at the time, but there was something about her voice, something about her singing that just grabbed me at the time. I loved this album. I still listen to it occasionally. I listen to it very recently. It's very much pop, but it's still good stuff. It's kind of dated in that way that it's 90s pop. There was a wave of female artists doing this kind of stuff at that time, but I really liked hers. I really liked it. Next up, we have a dude named Robben Ford. I first became aware of Robben Ford, I believe, about 10 years before this. I was introduced to his music by a guy named Ivan Zawinul, whose dad is Joe Zawinul, who started the Weather Report, one of the biggest jazz fusion projects ever. And Ivan knew some good music, but I didn't know. And this was one of them. He introduced me to a band called Yellow Jackets, which Robben Ford was in about 10 years prior to this. But anyway, this Robben Ford album is called Tiger Walk. It's totally instrumental. It won a Grammy, or at least one song on it won a Grammy. If you haven't listened to Robben Ford, you're missing out on one of the better guitar players ever. He should be up there in that conversation for sure. Very often people have never heard of him, or he gets overlooked in those kind of conversations for whatever reason. Anyway, go listen to Tiger Walk. Killer music. Alright, so those are the albums that we have to choose from today. I've narrowed it down to 5 of my favorites, and I sincerely could pick any one of these 5 albums to be my favorite album from this year, but there can be only one. Those 5 albums that I think rise to the top of this for me are Ben Harper, Will to Live. Like I said, he's got a unique voice, a unique way of playing. He plays interesting instruments, the Weezenborn. He has a sense of phrasing with his vocals that are just off kilter enough to keep you on the edge of your seat in some interesting ways. I've seen him live. He does killer stuff. This album just blew me away when I heard it. I absolutely loved it, and I still love it. It's a fantastic album. The second one up for consideration is Sarah McLachlan's Surfacing. This album is just beautiful. Her voice, the songwriting, the songs, everything about this album is really good. I would say maybe there are 2 songs on this album that some might consider filler type songs, and even those are really good songs. But this album is just a wonderful listen to an amazing singer, in my opinion. Love this album, Surfacing by Sarah McLachlan. Next up is Dream Theater, Falling into Infinity. They're always going to be up for consideration for the album that I most like from whatever year it is, just because their music is so killer. These guys really put out some good stuff. Falling into Infinity is no different. It's got some of the some songs on it. It's got this just incredibly heavy, rich sound to it, and I just love this album. It's great. Next up is Bob Dylan's Time Out of Mind. Yeah, you probably weren't expecting that, were you? But this album, if I remember correctly, at least one song on this album, "To Make You Love Me," "To Make You Feel My Love," is like in the Smithsonian collection for, like all time historic songs. I believe that's the case. I believe one other album on this whole list, the Buena Vista Social Club, is like included in that, uh, like World Heritage kind of stuff. But anyway, Bob Dylan, that song "To Make You Feel My Love" has been recorded by who knows how many people. I think in the hundreds at this point, and really big artists have covered this song. It's a fantastic song, fantastic album, in my opinion. It's got one song on it that's almost 20 minutes long. That's a little odd, but it's Bob Dylan. It's great stuff. After he recorded that song, the producer said, "Do you have a shorter version of this?" He's like, "That is the short version." Bob Dylan. And lastly, Robben Ford's Tiger Walk. This album is just absolutely a bomb. I mean, it's just the bomb, I should say. Killer, killer guitar playing. And that's why it's my favorite one from this year. It's one of those albums that I can get distracted by Bob Dylan's voice. I can get distracted by the intricacies of Dream Theater's playing. I can get distracted by Sarah McLachlan's lyrics or Ben Harper's lyrics or his off kilter way of singing. There's nothing on this Robben Ford album that distracts me. It's just killer from top to bottom. Great guitar playing from a great guitar player. And it's a fantastic album. Go listen to it. All right. That's all I've got to say this time. I appreciate y'all watching. Look out for another new video coming tomorrow, Thinking Tuesday. I appreciate you hanging out. Take care.